We left off at a very sensual point. I was not expecting a sex scene, but there was indeed a very tantric sex scene inspired by the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, with Uma, the Divine Mother, seated in the lap of Shiva, who represents universal consciousness. Anyway, that is the extent of the spice. We are starting a new part of the book titled Tattvam Asi, which means Thou art that, from the Chandogya Upanishad. This is the 9th chapter. Let's dive right into it. May this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. I arrived at the convent well past midnight. All was dark except for the warehouse where lights were blazing. Pepe, my associate, must be jamming, I thought. I threw open the front door. Yoo-hoo! I'm back, I called out. Miss Nandi's nephew, Muthu, the nephew of my Sanskrit teacher, aka Murugan, M.A. Pass, was stretched out on Pepe's chair, his feet up on the desk, sound asleep. I let go of my suitcase and backpack, and the clatter startled him awake. What are you doing here? I exclaimed. I thought you were in Chennai. He jumped up. I am here. My auntie told me to come because Pepe... Did Pepe quit? I interrupted. And you came to help out? Not to worry. When Pepe hears my news, he'll come back. And there's a job for you too if you want. There's work for everyone. Paid work. He did not respond. I picked up my suitcase. He did not make a move to help me. What is it? I asked. I was waiting for you, he said. Mother Gabriel is in Ireland. Her brother is very sick. Sister Mary is in charge. What is it? I repeated. Pepe is dead. I started forward, tripped, and crashed onto the floor. He came forward. I waved him away. Let me lie here for a minute, I said. Let me be. He bustled out, dragged over a chair, and handed me a glass of water. I raised myself up, sat in the chair, and gulped down the water. What did you say? I asked. The children. Police say Pepe killed 5 village children. Then he killed himself. I did not let on, but sat rigid in the face of Muthu's nervousness, my heart pounding and my mind giving up on what could not be borne. I wondered at the pinpricks of pain crawling up inside. I reached for my suitcase and made my way upstairs to my room. Muthu watched helplessly. I'm going to wash and change, I said, my back to him, then we'll go to the police station. We did not go to the police station that night or the next day, because I did not come down. I lay on my cot fully dressed, not bothering to remove my shoes. That paralyzing fear Sri Krishna refers to in the Gita, Mahobhayat, would not loosen its grim clutch. But as my anxiety soared, my mind, so keen and clever, so suited to problem solving, came to the fore. I was in danger. I had to get out of this place. No one could stop me, not the police, not the government. I was a white woman from a powerful country. I was protected. but I had overstayed my welcome, and the undiluted hatred of foreigners that was at the core of this atrocity would soon overwhelm any diplomatic immunity I had. Call the consulate, my mind urged. They would get me on a plane. I heard shuffling at my door, followed by the scrape of retreating footsteps. A lunchbox containing a mess of potatoes and peas, a few greasy puris, and a mug of tea had been placed on the floor. I ate and drank greedily, used my commode, and stretched out on the bed. I came to with a start at a loud knocking. My clothes, sheets, and pillows were drenched. The room stank of urine and sweat. It was morning. I had slept through the night. I'm fine, Muthu, I said. Inspector Chetty has come, he said. He is waiting. I'm coming down, I said. The inspector sprang to action as I descended. His expression, that familiar mixture of disdain and subservience worn by civil servants universally. Muthu pulled over a chair for the inspector. I took my seat behind my desk. My face was scrubbed, my hair pulled back in a knot. On my feet were the sneakers that I had slept in. I smelled bad. Please sit, Inspector, I said. He did not sit, but stood at ease. Madame, the inspector began, the head mother is not here, so I have come to tell you that the murder-suicide case is closed. You may collect things of... He either could not bear to say Pepe's name, or refused to. Sure, I'll do that, I said with a bright smile, and I'd like to see the file. File? The case file with the photographs of the bodies, the weapon, I said. The inspector gave out a deep, throaty laugh and turned to Muthu for confirmation of my naivety, my stupidity. File and all we are not having, madame, he said. Why need? Witnesses are there, many witnesses. Headman, Mr. Raja himself saw everything. I'm sure he did, I said. What about the bodies? Are they in the morgue? The inspector smiled indulgently, as if talking to a small child. Morgue and all we are not having. Bodies examined, then cremated. Cases closed. I matched his indulgent smile. Death is nothing but a change of clothes to you, isn't it? I asked. You get rid of old clothes and put on new ones. Isn't that what your Gita says? What you believe? The inspector ignored this bit of philosophizing. Families of children are now wanting compensations, he said. The same families who burned, beat, and threw acid on them? I asked. I told head mother before, the inspector said with a deep sigh. If families beat their children, it is their business only. Why should peoples interfere? But here, this Pepe, he spat out the word. A foreigner, drug lord, criminal, is murdering their children, so they must definitely be getting compensations. He once again turned to Muthu for support, but the boy was staring ahead as if in a trance. You will have to take all this up with Mother Gabriel, I said briskly. Pepe was her employee, her responsibility, not mine. Anyway, I'm leaving the country. Very good, madame. The inspector clicked his heels. I expected him to execute a full salute, but he turned sharply and marched out. Come back tomorrow, I said to Muthu. I need to be alone today. He left without a word, and I spent the day cleaning the warehouse, the office, my room, and finally Pepe's, where I found a large black tin trunk bound with brown leather straps. Pepe's collection of costumes, masks and props, skulls, beads, demons' faces. One was of a black goddess with terrible teeth, a red tongue hanging down, and bulging red eyes. Pepe's bejeweled sword lay in its secret compartment, sewn into the lining of the trunk. Did Pepe imagine that he would put on shows and enact popular myths? Why had we come here, to this land of ancient wisdom that was now headed on a precipitous downward trajectory? The job offer from Mother Gabriel and the pressing need for a safe haven was why, but how could we have been so blind? In other places, Pepe and I had witnessed cyclones, earthquakes, epidemics, and revolutions that plowed into a community. We could handle those with ease because there was always hope that recovery was at hand. But here, for centuries, all were caught up in a vice of evil practice and superstition sanctified by scripture and solidified into belief. That a person's suffering was due to bad acts and past lives, that a person's current life was set rigidly by the circumstance of their birth. Their tenet, ahimsa, do no harm, was a joke. I think my internet disconnected me for a second. Do let me know if the connection is good, if I'm back, so I can continue where I left off. If it did cut out for you, you can tell me what the last thing was. I said, but here. Alright. But here for centuries all were caught up in a vice of evil practice and superstition sanctified by scripture and solidified into belief. That a person's suffering was due to bad acts in past lives, that a person's current life was set rigidly by the circumstance of their birth. Their tenet, ahimsa, do no harm, was a joke, with each life circumscribed by a violence of exclusion. Compassion had no place here. Suffering has 5 causes, I learned, with the fundamental cause being the ignorance of our true nature. I had planned on sharing this and other useful dictums with Pepe and the girls, but while I'd been seeking enlightenment in a Maharaja's palace, Pepe and the girls had been fighting for their lives. A fight they did not win. The next morning, Muthu returned, carrying a box of Pepe's things he had retrieved from the police station. The top of the hookah peered out comically. Put it down anywhere, I said, and continued tapping keys on my laptop. I looked up. He seemed small and scared, no longer his cocky self. You can go, I said. I've been getting organized. He held onto the box and didn't budge. Please go, I said. When he still did not move, I marched around the desk, snatched the box and slammed it to the floor. The box flew sideways and its contents spilled all over. The hookah rolled under a chair as if trying to get away. Don't you get it? I screamed into Muthu's face. Do you and your inspector think that for a second, or even a split second, I believe this cock and bull story? Pepe would not hurt a fly, and I mean that, literally. He was forever carrying bugs outside, chasing away snakes, once a mongoose that could have killed him. His whole family had been murdered by the militia. He could not bear to kill anything. And what did that inspector call him? Drug lord? I laughed. That hookah, it was our joke. Now go. Please, for God's sake, go. He held out his phone. I have photos, he said, handing his phone to me. I scrolled through colorful pictures of small bodies lying askew, stab wounds front and back, and one adult, face down. Pepe's tattoo of a whale on one arm. He was stabbed in the front and back. Impossible for him to have inflicted these on himself. Where did you get these? I asked. The inspector has a file. When he left his office, I was alone and I took photos. What do you think happened? I asked. The girls ran away from the village in the evening. They were caught, and that headman, Raja, and his people stabbed and killed them. They were drunk, angry. Then they went to the camp and saw Pepe having his dinner in a cafe. They dragged him out. No one stopped them. They beat him and stabbed him and dragged his body and threw it near the bodies of the girls. Next morning they told Inspector Chetty that Pepe killed the girls and then killed himself. They told him they saw what happened. And you sure about all this? How do you know? I asked. Everyone knows, he said. Even Inspector Chetty? I asked. Him too. Raja works for a big company, foreign. He does what this company wants. Inspector cannot do anything. What company? Gerhardt Industries. They are planning something with Raja. They need him. Dun dun dun. That is the same company that our protagonist had blackmailed. The same company with the CEO of the father of her late husband that had passed away. I was going to stop reading there, but there's only one more page in the chapter, so I'll just continue. There were no ashes to submerge into the sea, no gravestone, no marker, no rituals of passage commemorating the deaths of Pepe and 5 children, Ratna, Renuka, Rati, Ranjini, and the littlest one, Radha. I was alone in my grief that was deep and vast and amorphous. Hello, I need to speak to Siddhanta. I screamed into the phone. Can you hear me? I need to speak to Siddhanta. It's urgent. There was crackling on the line. Yes, madame, I can hear you. I am manager, very busy today. I need to speak to Mr. Siddhanta. Excuse me, he said, putting the phone down. I heard him shouting at someone. Then he came back on. Siddh Saab, not here. Where is he? Isn't he in Rishikesh? At your ashram? Very busy here, madame. Bhandara is going on, madame. What? Feeding 100 sannyasis, madame. One family from Dubai is doing. Why? Why? Maybe saying thank you for something they got, or maybe asking for something they want to get. I must definitely go. Maybe Mr. Siddhanta will come for this Bandhara? The man shouted to someone as if translating what I had said, and there were loud guffaws. That's a new word for me. Guffaws. No, madame, he is not coming for this. The line went dead. Mother Gabriel's brother passed away, and she extended her stay in Ireland. Muthu returned to his job in Chennai. Miss Nandi, my Sanskrit teacher, was on her annual book tour to replenish her stock. Chairman Gerhardt was in Bavaria on his honeymoon with wife number 5, his office said. I called Padma. Her assistant answered. Mrs. Padma is on holiday, he said. Holiday? Where? North Pole, she said. I went about my business, appealing to donors, reviewing architectural schemes for the design and placement of the clinic, accepting and dispersing donations of food and money. Occasionally, Sister Mary came in to help me. Pepe and the girls were consigned to history. That is the end of the chapter, but not quite the end of the reading, as there is a very brief layer of the story which takes place at the level of the divine. Lord Vishnu, Hari, the compassionate one, stood at the bow of an icebreaker that easily carved a wide swath through the thinning Arctic ice. In the far distance, 6 polar bears warily tracked the progress of the mammoth structure labeled a research ship, but Hari knew that it was the oil and gas reserves that brought it here. Padma, his beloved, stood to one side, watching him watch the bears. Very soon there'll be no polar bears, no Arctic ice, and no ship, Hari said. Padma gently put out a hand. She'll come through. She'll come through, but won't she be too late? That is the end of the 9th chapter. And what a dramatic introduction to the 3rd part of this book. I thank you all for bearing through such grim subject matter. But such is the unfortunate reality of the world. And it's good to see how this situation evolves and how our protagonist learns to grow through it and heal her wounds and make something of the circumstance and continue her understanding to realize her true self as the Divine Mother. Thank you.